Hi everyone, thank you for accessing this video. One of the biggest questions that has ever been asked in the history of the human race is, how do I become a Christian? Or sometimes it's phrased, how do I become a follower of Jesus Christ? It's asked a whole lot of different ways. To answer the question though, let's go to the source. Let's examine the story in the Bible where Jesus himself answers that question. We find it in the New Testament book of John. That's the fourth book of the New Testament in chapter 3. Now, by the way, for those of you who are not familiar with how the Bible is organized, the Bible is composed of 66 books. And each book is divided up into chapters, and each chapter is divided up into verses. So when you see John 3:16, John is a reference to the book in the Bible, 3 is a reference to the chapter, and 16 is a reference to the verse. And that's how you find your way around the Bible. In chapter 3 of John, a man named Nicodemus is coming to Jesus. And he comes to him at night. He didn't have the guts to come to him in the daylight because he didn't want to be made fun of by his friends. So he sneaks up on Jesus at night and comes to him so that no one else can see him. Now, he's not just an ordinary person. He is a member of the ruling council of his nation. He has a very good education. He is the equivalent today of a college professor or a seminary professor, a very knowledgeable, important, well-connected member of his community. Now, he has a very simple question for Jesus. How do you do what you do? He is astonished at the power that Jesus Christ has. The power to heal, the power to feed people, the power to even raise the dead. He is amazed at this, and he wants to know how Jesus got that power, how he came to have that power. And so he asks a very simple question. How are you doing this? How do you do what you do? And Jesus then utters famous words, which you may have heard in many, many contexts. He says to Nicodemus, you must be born again. They're strange words, and they were certainly very strange words to Nicodemus since he hadn't heard them before. And so he asked the question, how can a person be born again? It's a biological impossibility. How can I re-enter my mother's womb? And Jesus kind of gently chides him at that point and says, Nicodemus, you are a big shot. You are a political leader of your nation. You are very well educated and well connected. And you don't know what I'm talking about? So then Jesus explains what he's talking about. Jesus says that Jesus' spirit is like the wind. And he says, like the wind, you don't know where it comes from, you don't know where it's going, but you see evidence of it. For instance, Jesus says you can hear the sound of it. And so if you've ever been in a windy climate, you can't see wind, but you can see what it does. And Jesus says being born again is like that. His spirit enters you and it produces results even though you don't know where that spirit came from or where it's going. Now he tells Nicodemus exactly what Nicodemus needs to know. You'll notice he didn't exactly answer his question, and Jesus often does this. He says what people need to know, not necessarily what they're asking. And then after that, he says what is possibly the most famous verse in the entire Bible. He says to Nicodemus, God loved the world so much, he sent his son to save it. Jesus, of course, is referring to himself. Anyone can believe in the Son. Anyone can trust the Son. And if you do, you will not perish, but you will have eternal life. Now, this is one of the fundamental reasons that Christianity is going to go out and conquer the Roman world. It is going to be victorious because of this very, very simple message. That was a screw up. It is going to go out and conquer because of this very simple message. Here's what Jesus is saying to you. Believe in me. Ask me to save you. Ask me to forgive you. Ask me to come into your life. In another passage, Jesus says, I am standing at the door of your life knocking. If you open the door, I will come in and I will fellowship with you. And Jesus Christ says that if you do that, you are born again. Or, in other words, you have become a Christian. Or you have become a follower of Jesus Christ. You become a child of God. You'll belong to Jesus Christ in a new and powerful and important way, and in a way other people are not a part of his life. You can become a Christian, and it's a step that you can take right now.